Donald Trump spent the weekend at Mar-a-Lago in Florida, but it wasn't to relax. He and his closest associates devised a plan for negotiations with Russia on a ceasefire in Ukraine.
I learned a lot. We're doing pretty well, I think, with Russia. And we'll see if we have something to announce maybe by Tuesday. I'll be speaking to President Putin on Tuesday. And a lot of work's been done over the weekend. We want to see if we can bring that war to an end. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think we have a very good chance.
It will not be a face-to-face meeting, but a telephone conversation, which was also confirmed by the Kremlin. The United States administration is not revealing any details, but Trump's associates are working on drafting an agreement that would provide a chance for a ceasefire.
This war's been going on for 3 years, so I think the question, and with no end in sight at this point, without this intervention by President Trump. So I think the question is, the fundamental question really is not how long. I think the question is, are we actually moving towards a ceasefire, or is this a delay tactic? I'm not going to answer that because I can't characterize that for you right now.
Donald Trump's conversation with Vladimir Putin could be the real breakthrough that is being awaited not just by Ukraine's war-stricken civilians, but also the soldiers who are withdrawing from enemy territory in the Kursk region. Trump has the leverage to achieve a truly lasting peace in Ukraine.
Pytanie, jaką kartą zagra tutaj Donald Trump? Z jednej strony...
The question is, what cards will Donald Trump play here? On the one hand, he can be the good cop who promises to loosen some sanctions, while on the other hand, he can show himself to be the tough guy who can hit Russia even harder economically and, by loosening restrictions on arms supplies, further strengthen Ukraine's defense forces. There is not much that Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky agree on, but they do agree on one thing.
And really, as both President Putin and Zelensky said on our first call just a few weeks ago, only President Trump could drive this to an end.
On what terms? It is not yet clear, but the most important goal for Donald Trump is to stop the war.
Well, I think we'll, be talking about land. It's a lot of land. It's a lot different than it was before the wars, And we'll be talking about land. We'll be talking about power plants. That's that's a big question. But I think we have a lot of it already discussed very much by both sides.
Donald Trump's envoys have managed to convince the Ukrainian delegation that the only solution is a peace agreement with Russia and close cooperation with the United States. Now Washington faces a much more difficult task. Since the talks in Jeddah, the American proposal for a ceasefire on the front line, Russia has stolen another week of war, because that's what Russia wants. But we are ready to do everything to make the truce arrangements effective. Brussels officials, who have failed for 3 years to bring about a truce in Eastern Europe, are now counting on the Trump administration to do the hard part of the job, because continuing this war of attrition serves no one.
We really welcome the Jeddah talks and the result of it. Now we need to really see that the ball is in Russia's court and what kind of conditions they are presenting, which is a big question whether they want peace.
These will not be easy talks, but the lives of vulnerable civilians are at stake. Trump wants a quick end to the war, while Russia wants to drag out the end of the war. These are divergent interests. But Donald Trump doesn't like it when someone tries to derail his plans. So if Russia rejects the truce, Putin may get hit with a series of economic blows he won't get back up from.